Tension looms in Tribunal. See what is happening in court today as final judgment set to prevail. Welcome back to Prospect Channel TV. Thank you for always coming out here. If you are just joining us, please kindly subscribe. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. The press wrote about the anticipation surrounding the presidential election petition court's decision on the petitions lodged by unsuccessful candidates in the February 25th election. Following the abduction of final written addresses, the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, sitting in the Court of Appeal in Abuja, is now free to rule on the petitions, challenging Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration as the winner of the February 25th presidential election. In their various petitions, Peter Obi and his party, the Labour Party, the Aligned People's Movement, APM, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, are seeking the nullification of Tinubu's election. On the grounds of substantial non-compliance with the Constitution, the Electoral Act, and the guidelines by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the conduct of the presidential election, as well as the double nomination of the Vice President, Shettima. They contend that Tinubu was ineligible to compete in the aforementioned election and that his declaration and return as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are illegal and invalid. In their final written address, adopted last week, Obi and his party insisted that Tinubu's disqualification from running in the presidential election on February 25th, 2023 was a result of the United States District Court's forfeiture order against him for $460 in the final written address filed by their lead counsel, Dr. Levi Uzoko San. The petitioner stated that the forfeiture order against Tinubu issued by the United District Court for the Northern District of Halonings, the Eastern Division in case number 93C4483 represent proceeds of narcotics trafficking and money laundering. The petitioners also urged the statutory and the constitutional disqualification of Tinubu and the Vice President Kassim Shettima as candidates in the presidential election renders their purported rerun and declaration as election winners invalid, null and void, and subject to the court's annulment. Obi and his party argued that INEC's failure to comply with the relevant provisions of the Electoral Act and subsidiary legislation significantly affected the outcome of the presidential election held on February 25th. In addition, they informed the Presidential Election Petition Court that Tinubu's threat of anarchy in his final address constituted cheap, misguided, and destructive blackmail clearly intended to target the country's judicialism and constitutionalism. They stated that Tinubu and Shettima stooped too low and abandoned discretion when they claimed, "Our position is that the petitioners are inviting anarchy by raising the issue of INEC's failure to transmit results electronically." Apart from the blatant refusal to comply with the mandatory requirements of the law, the certified copies of the results of the election given to the petitioners by the first respondent, INEC, manifestly show that The purported forms EC8As in several polling units were affected by mutilations, cancellations, alterations, and outright swapping of votes in favor of the second to the fourth respondents and against the petitioners, stated the senior attorney in the address. In their final written address, in their joint petition challenging Tinubu's declaration as the winner of the presidential election, Atiku and his party stated that the heavens would not fall if justice is served by annulling Tinubu's election. In spite of the passage of a new electoral act, the introduction of promising technological innovations to ensure transparency, the massive investment of public funds, and the assurance by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), they stated that the February 25th presidential election was the worst in the history of the general elections in Nigeria due to the brazen subversion of the will of Nigerian voters. After the petitioners and respondents adopted their final written addresses, the five-man panel of the Presidential Election Petition Court (PEPC), presided over by Justice Haruna, set the judgment date to a date that would be communicated to the parties in the various petitions. Thus, the waiting game continues. So guys, I'm dropping it here. Kindly share your thoughts below the comment section, please. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not. Thank you.